Hello everyone, my name is Dynasty, and the research topic I decided to do this week was restraint and seclusion. So restraint means any method that immobilizes or restricts movements, and seclusion is any involuntary confinement alone in a space where the children cannot exit. And so Arizona law allows restriction and seclusion methods. There are three types of restriction methods: physical, mechanical, and chemical. Only physical restraints are allowed in schools, and mechanical and chemical restraints are explicitly prohibited. So, schools are required to visually monitor the children and notify parents if any restraints or seclusion methods were used. Incidents need to be reported on the same day and in a detailed written documentation of any of the incident's triggers and how long it lasted. The Arizona Department of Education does recommend using all other interventions first, such as data to understand the behavior, training staff in de-escalation, and positive behavior methods, and ensuring that these are being implemented correctly. So, however, in 2012, it was warned that restraint and seclusion methods can have very serious consequences, unfortunately, including death. And noted in evidence supports that, and no noted evidence supports the effectiveness of reducing problematic behavior. So how does this affect the vulnerable populations? Well, government data does show that although students with disabilities only make up about 12% of the public schools population, they account for 67% of those subjected to restraint or seclusion. So CBS News reports over 70% of districts underreport their restraint slash seclusion incidents, calling this a hidden epidemic in public schools. One thing about this that really surprised me is the learning about chemical restraints. And chemical restraints is a method using medication to immobilize a student. And although this is not used in Arizona schools, I couldn't even imagine using it in any school or this being any type of method. I think this should definitely be off limits, and for good reason. Since like dosing a kid to calm them down seems like a huge medical and ethical risk. So what are the potential benefits and or drawbacks of this policy? Some benefits is when a student's behavior possesses a immediate threat, having a regular method ensures that staff can intervene and prevent serious injury to the students or others. Mandatory training is required, continuous observation, and detailed reporting. So this creates opportunities for districts to learn and improve their practices over time. Some drawbacks of this, obviously, as we talked about before, things like death can occur. Even brief physical holds can be terrifying, and they can lead to bruises and other bodily harms. Another drawback is that 67% figure for special education students shows a systematic bias, and this can kind of perpetrate discrimination rather than protect the vulnerable kids. And if staff lack adequate training in alternatives, or if behavioral support are underfunded, schools may default to restraint or seclusion methods quicker, and not really exhausting all other less restrictive items. So that was the topic that I read about this week. Thank you for watching.